Say, here's something I can read. Pretty well, anyway. It's in Latin. Forever glory, the and. Power, the and. Kingdom, the is. Thou, thine. The is thine. Kingdom, the is thine.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't read anymore. I know what that is. That's the Lord's Prayer backwards. That's the Lord's Prayer backwards. That's the Lord's Prayer backwards.
Hello, and welcome to Bronze Age Monsters. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm your other host, Jacob Balcom.
Thanks for joining us this week. We should be in your feed already if you're a listener to Werewolf by Night podcast. So the name has changed, but it's still me and Jacob. And we're counting this as season 4, and we're super excited. We took a month off, and about halfway through the month, I was like, well, maybe I didn't need a month. But it was actually nice to get a little break and kind of do some side projects and whatever. So we are Bronze Age Monsters now. We don't have a snappy intro like we normally have. We did for the Werewolf show because we don't know what we're doing yet with this guy. We don't know this guy.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. There's a lot of things we're going to have to figure out this season. We're going to have to figure out a new drinking game, new rules for that. Number one, I mean, that's obviously the most important thing. And after that, you and I were discussing off air that we were going to have to come up with a new signature drink for this season. I think they should change each season, obviously. And so we would definitely love to solicit the listeners for that. That was a really fun time we had last time, having the drink contest. So yeah, definitely try and get a hold of us for that. And if you have any suggestions for drinking game rules, we're gonna discover tropes as we go on. We'll discover the things organically that happen a lot.
Yes. So just in case you're just hopping onto this show now and you didn't hear our first 3 seasons when we were different, we were the Werewolf by Night podcast, and we covered Jack Russell and his furry alter ego. And in the second season, we did Manwolf, the Colonel John Jameson, and did that story second season. Then we went back to Jack Russell and did his appearances in other books after his book got canceled. And Jacob and I wanted to stick around in the Bronze Age, the 70s weird comics that we were loving so much. So we decided, let's do a rebrand. And we did, and that's what we're doing. So we sometimes will be alluding to the fact that there are things like drinking games and stuff like that, but that's all old stuff. So we will try in these first 2 episodes kind of explain some of these things and the legacy stuff that comes up, just in case you're new to the show. We want everybody to feel welcome and be able to follow along. So one thing we did, like Jacob said, with tropes from the Werewolf by Night, particularly in the first season, his series, there were a lot of things that came up that were kind of writer mechanics and tropes and cliche things. So we just started drinking whenever they happen, just like when you're watching a movie, anytime somebody says whatever you drink. So like when the werewolf when Jack Russell forgot that the moon was full that night and he was just out running around doing stuff, we always had a drink for that. When someone thought that he wasn't an actual werewolf, he was a guy in a mask or a hippie in the dark, we would drink for that, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we would drink whenever Jack wanted to go to the forest, which happened so much. So, yeah, it was just fun. It was fun to arrive at those organically, but people also suggested. And we'll figure that out as we go along.
Yeah, and one thing, we mentioned the drink. We also did that. We had a contest, and people would send in their drinks. Hopefully something they kind of invented or modified based on another drink that is kind of thematic and based on the thing. So we had a drink called the Buck Cowan. That won season 1. Buck Cowan was the werewolf's best friend, his kind of mentor / friend that helped him and got him out of a lot of binds. So we made a drink that felt like something Buck Cowan would drink. And the Manwolf, I forgot what the Manwolf drink was. That was the Romita Alteration.
Yeah, that was Romita Alteration,
which was an amazing drink that our friend cooked up. So we're working for a Son of Satan. That's all of this season. Son of Satan themed drink. I'm going to go ahead and I know me. You're probably going to want to do that Fireball whiskey stuff. I can't do it. So if I will drink it, but I will not vote for your drink. So I would avoid anything that tastes like cinnamon. Just to let you know.
All right, you got red out in front of that.
Yeah, I did. I do not want to drink a bunch of Fireball whiskey.
Okay, well, all right. You have your standards, and I respect them.
Yes, and just to motivate you folks a little bit, there are prizes for these. The one that wins, the inventor of that drink, gets a shirt. In the past, it was a Werewolf by Night shirt or a Man Wolf shirt. But now, the cool thing about us starting our new show and rebranding, we had an awesome graphic designer up in Canada, Francois Vigneault, design our beautiful logo that you're seeing in the thumbnail for the show and everything. So we have a threadless shop, which the link for that is in the show notes. We have awesome variations on our theme of our logo that you can get on coffee cups, hoodies, you name it. Stickers. We sold some stickers. That was cool. I made a Manwolf one that has Manwolf in his Star God form when he's out in space kicking ass like Conan in space or Flash Gordon. I love that one. We've been selling all of those since I put that in the shop. Anyway, if you win, you can go to the shop and pick any shirt you want, and I will send it to you. So there's your motivation. As far as how you send us those recipes, we are on Gmail. We are at bronzeagemonsters@gmail. On Twitter, we are, I could not get Bronze Age Monsters because it's too long. So their suggested shortened name was at Bronze Age Monst 1. The numeral 1 at Bronze Age Monst 1, whatever.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
And we're at Bronze Age Monsters on Instagram as well. I did that same thing everybody else did when we bugged out when Elon Musk was being a prick. And we're on Hive and we're on Mastodon, but I've just been choosing to not be on Twitter as much more than anything else, to be honest with you. So anyway, also, if you're a Patreon supporter, I updated the show in the background, so you're still supporting us. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. we are patreon.com/Bronze Age Monsters now. Any links you had or saved URLs should redirect you to that. If you're new and you like what you're hearing in this episode, I highly recommend that you go in there and support us at a level that gets the bonus show. We do a weekly bonus show. And if you get access to that show, you get access to the entire archives, which is 40 plus uploads of different things of a bonus show. But the bonus show this week is free. So you can check it out and see what people get every single week on this if they join us as a Patreon supporter. We put a lot of work into it and we have a blast. It's kind of stuff that we used to just do at the end of the show, and the show was too long. So we trimmed it off and made it something that to say thank you to people that support us. I can't wait for the season. We used to talk about werewolf movies every episode in addition to other things. This time we're talking about devil movies. And I narrowed it down to just 1970s devil movies because we're just doing 1970s comics this season. So we've got some wild stuff coming up. In this first episode, we watched The Devil's Reign from 1975 that has William Shatner and Tom Skerritt and Ernest Borgnine. It was directed by Robert Fuest, who made the 2 Abominable Dr. Phibes films. Just check out the bonus show. We're talking all about it and explaining how the season's going to work.
I love that you had no problem finding, 20 some devil movies from the 70s.
I know. I was throwing in stuff from the 60s and the 90s, and then I was like, wait a minute. Let me keep diving. I kept diving into IMDb lists that people had made, users had made, and I was like, I can do all 70s if I really dig. And I did dig, and I made like 7 or 10 iterations of this list. I think it's distilled to this perfect moonshine of occult madness.
No, that's good. And yeah, I mean, it was easy to find devil movies in the 70s because I hate to say panic at that point. It was more like in the early 70s, it was almost kind of fun and sexy. And then like as the 70s went on and the 80s happened and suddenly playing Dungeons and Dragons meant you were, a Satan worshiper, that's when that wasn't fun anymore. But the 70s were kind of fun.
Yeah, it was definitely, we've talked about this a bit on some other stuff, but like it was the counterculture of the 60s kind of bleeding over into the early 70s, and there was an interest in occult and like Wicca and tarot and astrology and all that kind of stuff. And just new age mysticism and occultism were all kind of just free for all, the same way that there were some adult sex films that people would go and see and they would be ashamed to because they were art house movies technically. So just our society kind of unclenched because of what the hippies did in the second half of the 60s. And yeah, like you said, it took D&D and metal to make people start freaking out about it. And false recovered memories.
Yeah, and Robert Stack had a bit to do with that too. As much as I love the guy,
Awesome.
The Unsolved Mysteries definitely rode hard on that Devil D&D train. So he's culpable. But no, but still, I mean, we're going to be talking about a comic from 1974, and there is by this time, Satanism has really kind of entered the mainstream. There was a Satan worshiper episode of Macmillan and Wife.
Interesting. So, yeah, this season we held a poll to see which Bronze Age character we should do for our first season. Back when we decided we were going to do this in the first place, probably a year ago, and Son of Satan went heads and shoulders above. We have some stuff planned out for future seasons. We can't wait to get started on this. Thanks for putting up with this long preamble here, but we just wanted to kind of catch some new folks up if you are just joining us. You're going to have fun. Trust me. We're brilliant, as David Brent would say. Right? Just basically chilled out entertainers.
That's right.
That's an actual quote. Yeah, so I have to admit something. I feel awful. I meant to read Marvel Spotlight 5 through 11 to get Ghost Rider's first stuff, and it slipped my mind. So I'm jumping into Ghost Rider 1 when he got his own book, kind of cold, because he had, 6 issues to start?
He did. Now I read the last couple. I think I read, 9 through 11.
Okay, I read 11 today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that catches you up a little bit because as we'll talk about as we go through this issue, it does kind of dump you right into the story, which is cool. Not as hard as Werewolf by Night 1 dumped you into the story.
Ghost Rider is not a statue.
No, it's not a statue with 0 editor's notes. There's at least Roy Thomas in here is just being like, okay, check out this issue. He gets it wrong, I think, twice in this issue, which is weird.
There's some mistakes.
There's a lot of mistakes. So, but as you know, by this time, Marvel is just printing an ungodly amount of comics.
Yes, they are.
So yeah, titles like this, as you'll learn as we go on, they don't get the supervision that a Captain America or a Spider-Man title would get from editorial. So a lot of times these guys are just throwing shit at the wall, and if they like it and if they think it's cool, most of the time editorial wouldn't really pay attention, it seems.
And that's why we're talking about these.
That's why we talk about them, because they're awesome.
Because they were off the leash a little bit and below the radar of their editors a lot of times. So if the book was selling, a lot of times editors just let them keep doing what they were doing because something was working and the bottom line was the bottom line. Yeah. So that a lot of times that makes cool stuff like this. Okay. So we have a friend who's a director and a raconteur and just an amazing guy. His name is Brad Elmore. And he loves Ghost Rider. He's going to be on the season to talk about some Ghost Rider stuff or some Son of Satan stuff. But he really loves Ghost Rider. And I felt like myself just like trying to mentally, like a Jedi, like project my astral form and ask him questions. Like, explain to me again how Johnny Blaze and the Spirit of Vengeance or whatever, not Spirit of Vengeance, but whatever he's called, the demon or whatever that's, because it felt like it was just Johnny Blaze with a skull head in this issue, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. I was lost for a lot of this. I hadn't read this in like 20 years. I think I checked out the Essential Ghost Rider #1 from the library probably almost 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're gonna go into this in detail, but it's a weird Ghost Rider issue.
Yeah,
honestly, not a lot of stunt riding by old Johnny Blaze. So it's a weird one, but it's great, and it focuses a lot on supporting cast. Matt, you and I, for years on the show, have talked about how much we love when supporting cast is focused on. So that was one thing that I did dig about this issue, and I'll be excited to talk about.
Me too. So let's jump in. I will say that I did establish, just based on this issue, I'm going to adhere to these 2 drinking game rules so far, just based on this issue. So I'm laying them down here. We haven't encountered them yet, but I'm getting this sense, Spidey sense tingling, that Johnny Blaze being perceived as wearing a mask that is a special effect is a thing. So I'm going to drink when that happens.
Oh, good.
He, at this point, I understand that he kind of just fluctuates and changes. The rules change around him. He's very mushy and hid the rules. So I know at this point when it's dark, he turns into Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. So I'm already hearing the the parallel of like, oh shit, is it a full moon tonight?
Exactly.
So when Johnny Blaze is taken aback by, again, this will become a Son of Satan book, but these first couple issues, when he's surprised by nightfall, I'm going to take a drink. Okay, so we got this cover here, and this is cover dated September 1973. It is by Gil Kane, pencils by Gil Kane, with inks by Joe Sinnott. Sinnott? How do you say his name?
I always just said Sinnott.
I would say Sinnott.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's how it is.
Okay. So yeah, we've got, it says the most supernatural hero of all. Supernatural superhero of all. So it's a pissing match at this point. If you folks haven't listened to Werewolf by Night, I would recommend you check out our first episode. I went back, Jacob, and re-listened to that. That was a master course on the history of horror comics, the Comics Code Authority, and the loosening of the Comics Code in the early 70s and the onslaught of monster stuff. If you're interested at all in this era of supernatural comic books, listen to our first episode all the way back in this feed. I think we spoke for an hour about the history of horror comics and how we got to where we were when Marvel Spotlight #2 came out with the werewolf. And it's actually pretty comprehensive and impressive. So
did we sound smart?
You sounded smart.
Okay, good. That's what I really care about.
SMRT.
So thank you.
Yes. I was super impressed. So check that out if you're interested in that stuff. But at this point, I would think it's safe to say that Stan was still really involved in the day-to-day and the highest level. And we know that he was giving out stuff to like Roy Thomas and whoever, like just saying, I want this, I want that, do this. Here's a title. Here's a, description, make something happen. So if you don't know, Ghost Rider this is volume 2, because there was a volume 1 of Ghost Rider that was a Western themed Phantom Rider back in the day, which is that, I don't know if that's Atlas or what, but, or Timely, probably Atlas.
No, I think it was
but
no, that was just in the 60s.
Oh, was it?
The original Ghost Rider the original Ghost Rider is Timely, yes. But I think in 1966 is when the Ghost Rider 1 came out, where he's a Western guy. And that character was later changed to Phantom Rider, if I'm correct.
Yes, they changed his name. Yes, you're correct.
But yeah, that was 1966, also written by Gary Friedrich. But yes, it's a much older character.
Okay. And so by renaming him Phantom Rider, is it not like a legacy thing with the demons and blah, blah? Was it just no. I have a glowing mask on and I ride a horse?
Yeah, not even. I mean, yeah, he was just a masked kind of white rider. And yeah. Oh, good. Yeah.
I wish I still had that.
Yeah, because I think he shows up again. I mean, as the Phantom Rider. And
he does.
Yeah.
He did. I think once this Ghost Rider became popular, I think they kind of said, how can we bring back the Ghost Rider and call him Phantom Rider now?
Oh, yeah. Well, he comes back in like Ghost Rider issue 50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why I said that. But
they make sweet love and fight.
They do, and it's really darling.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a cool cover. It's got a ghostly haze around the Ghost Rider titling, and I am a huge fan of the logos for all these books in this era. This is not my favorite one, my friend. This one felt a little like first drafty to me. I mean, we sent a ton of these Bronze Age horror things to Francois Vigneault and said, distill this down into a thing and then make it say Bronze Age monsters. We want it to show that we love the way this stuff looks. And this is not one of the ones I sent him. Ghost looks like it's all drawn on a peachy by a stoned teenager in 1973. And Rider is showing that, oh yeah, there's ghosty, scary stuff, but it's also Evel Knievel stuff. And it's got like flash speed lines as it's surging forward.
It's not great.
And we get a bubble below the portal masthead or whatever that's, forgetting the term again. I always do this every time.
Yeah, the porthole.
Okay. Fearsome first issue, now in his own mind-bending mag, because you demanded it. So this is, again, that era when they were doing tryout stuff, like in Marvel Spotlight and other things. And if they sold enough stuff and got enough letters, this character got their own book, because Marvel is expanding like mofos at this point.
Yeah.
So we have a nice Gil Kane, Joe Sinnott drawing of Johnny Blaze as a Ghost Rider bashing through a police barricade cordon, and he's popping a wheelie at the same time, and the cops are shooting after him, looking very angry, and it says wanted, dead and alive. My only thought looking at this was, I mean, it's decent, but it's like, one, I love this classic Ghost Rider, his leathers. His design is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I could watch him do anything. And looking at this motorcycle, I just thought, if I were an artist, I would hate drawing cars and motorcycles, and I wonder if all of them do.
I would assume they do.
It looks awful to draw. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like Gil Kane. I mean, you know, they have swipe files, they have reference, but yeah, it's like half reference and half just him being like, what would Kirby do? It looks like a weird Kirby motorcycle.
It's an apocalypse motorcycle. Like,
it is. It's really
dark side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like this cover. It's not. I'm sure it sold a lot of comics because it is very striking. But yeah, the title font or whatever they're trying to do, the design just wasn't my cup of tea.
Very creaky.
It's very creaky.
Creaky and half-assed, and like I said, first drafty.
Yeah,
but I can see this jumping out of a spinner rack or of a grocery store shelf at a kid and just be like, oh, Mom, I have to get this.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, yeah, let's jump in.
Okay, so our opening page, I like it. This opening page is a nice banner at the top that reads, Stan Lee presents The Ghost Rider. And then underneath that, we're introduced to our cast of creators. You know, I like to talk about them. So we have Gary Friedrich, writer, Tom Sutton, artist, Sid Shores, inker, John Costanza, letterer, George Rousseau, colorist, and Roy Thomas, editor. So some of these names we're familiar with that we've talked about in previous seasons, others not. We're going to be talking a lot about Gary Friedrich because he co-created Ghost Rider, he co-created Son of Satan, and he's going to write the next 4 issues that we're going to talk about. And he's the architect. So like I say, we're going to have 4 episodes to talk about him. So I'm going to space out a little bit of talking about Gary and his history. I'm going to do it chronologically. And so I thought it was weird. When I started to do kind of research for this season, most of the time I rely on, Alter Ego or Back Issue, the historical magazines published by Roy Thomas and John Morrow of Tomorrow's Publishing. And I found one that was a copy of Alter Ego 169. It's from May of 2021. Anyone who's interested in Ghost Rider or Son of Satan or Gary Friedrich, I highly recommend this issue. It's all about him. Most of it is Roy himself being interviewed because, weirdly enough, Roy Thomas and Gary Friedrich, they were best friends for 60 years. And Roy Thomas, they met. Okay, first they went to the same high school in this small town called Jackson, Missouri, in the 50s. And they worked together at a little theater. They played in a bunch of bands together with kind of corny names. Let's see, their first band was called the Gabberlunzies.
Do you know what that means? Does that mean anything?
It's some. Roy said that it was some I don't know, term for a wandering beggar from the 16 or 1700s.
That's kind of fucking cool.
It's pretty cool, right? Actually, I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That started out as the name of their group. It was Roy and Gary Friedrich and a couple of their friends that would ride around in their 52 Chevy and, get into kind of, I don't know, fairly innocent 50s hijinks. I think Roy tells a story about, Gary Friedrich setting fire to some a giant pile of sawdust that the other nerds in the car were like, oh my God, a fire, let's call the cops and the fire department. And so they had it all put it out, and so and then Gary was like, oh, I was the one that lit that. They did stuff like they put a bunch of bubble bath in the town fountain, and the fountain was going to be shown to some dignitaries, and when they turned it on, this is
A1 hijinks.
Yeah, it's total hijinks. And they had tons of this shit. Okay, my other favorite band name for a band they were in was called Evitz Pretzel and the Transjordanaires.
Wow. Evitz Pretzel and the Transjordanaires?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, there's a, taking off on Elvis Presley and his backing singers, the Jordanaires. But and it seemed like Gary was a pretty proficient drummer. Roy was the front man. which I guess he was, probably
there
was an okay
photos?
singer. Yeah, there are photos. There are lots
my
of photos in
God.
the alter ego. So I'm going to try and scan some of them. And so maybe we can post them or something. But yeah, it's weird. There's not a photo of like Roy and Gary in the same shot, which was kind of a bummer in some of the band shots. And some of them you don't see Gary. But yeah, they were in a ton of bands. And Gary, it seemed like, was just going to be a musician. But then he kind of just ended up writing comics even away from Roy. He didn't start out at Marvel. I think that Gary's first writing credit was in Charlton's Love Diary 45 from September of 66. And his first Marvel credit was the Western Ghost Rider, which was in February of 66. So yeah, I guess in that whole time period, like he started in 66, he mostly wrote Western and romance comics. I think through the mid to late 60s, he expanded at Marvel into kind of some of the lesser superhero stuff. X-Men wasn't a huge title. It was mainly reprints, I think. And Captain Marvel. He jumped on the horror train in the 70s and did a lot of stuff there. But he also started writing, having, little issues on Captain America, the Avengers. But
like one-offs, like one.
Yeah, well, there were a couple issues here and there. He wrote a few issues of Cap.
Okay.
But yeah, Gary liked to drink. And so he became sober later in his life. In the later 70s, he was first egged on to go sober by Bill Everett, who finally got sober. And
I didn't know Bill Everett got sober.
Yeah, Bill Everett got sober, and he was really, really involved in AA the last few years of his life. It caught up with him real fast when he stopped drinking. But he had a great couple of years, and he was the one that inspired Gary to later on. It took him a while, but he later on got sober, and that became a big part of his life. But yeah, he would look back on this time and just be like, well, I was drunk for every one of those.
Writing drunk?
Yeah.
Wow. Can't even wrap my head around that one.
I know, right? And his stuff is great. So yeah, I know. So if we're talking about this month of comics, he wrote Frankenstein, Monsters Unleashed, Red Wolf, Sergeant Fury, and this issue of Ghost Rider. So yeah, that was the Frankenstein title. I think when it was still, I'm not sure if I don't think they'd gone to the future yet. I think this is still just the serialization of the novel, right? Like
that was like the first 3 or 4 issues.
I thought it was longer than that. I thought it was, I don't know. I thought it was like the first 6 or something.
Well, it was still set in that era after they finished.
It was still set in the era, not in the novels, but yeah, it was still set in that era.
I didn't understand. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, and so he's doing that right now with Mike Ploog.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the Red Wolf? I thought that he only had that one appearance in Marvel Spotlight #1 and then showed up in the Avengers. Am I wrong?
No, I thought he had a mini.
Oh, did he? Wow.
I thought he had a couple issue thing.
Oh, okay. I'd like to read that.
I think so. Yeah, so interestingly, so our artist this issue is Tom Sutton. So he took over from Mike Ploog in Marvel Spotlight #9. So he's been drawing Ghost Rider for a couple issues now. And, you and I were really familiar with Tom Sutton because he drew 2 great issues of Werewolf by Night. And he drew and inked those, which is different from his work on here, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's mainly due to the inker Sid Shores. But as we saw in Werewolf by Night, Tom Sutton's style was very loose and, did not conform to the house style of Marvel, which was why we thought those issues were so kind of revolutionary because they didn't look like anything else.
So were those before this? I'm trying to remember, like that started in 72. So that must have been right around this time. The 2 issues, 9 and 10 or whatever.
Werewolf by Night 9 came out this very month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So if you were on the newsstand, you got 2 very different versions of Tom Sutton.
Shit. Yeah, I'm excited to hear you. We haven't talked about Sid Shores before ever on the show, right?
No. Okay. So yeah, I'm
excited to talk about that because as much as I love Tom Sutton, I love those 2 issues he did with Werewolf by Night, whatever. I love other stuff he's done. I just, there was a lot of stuff where it's like, this has to be Sid Shores. We created this effect on me, and it looks like Herb Trimpe. Like you put Tom Sutton into the sausage machine, and Sid Shores cranks it, and Herb Trimpe comes out somehow. So I was very confused by the art in this issue.
Yeah. Well, it's very confusing. I mean, Tom Sutton was known for being a horror artist. He worked for Skywald and Warren and Charlton and did really cool shit. And, he would do some war and romance comics, kind of, I don't know, here and there, but he was mainly a horror guy. So if you were at the newsstand this month, you'd see his work in, I think for Charlton, Attack 13, Fightin' Army 111, and Midnight Tales number 5. Those are all from Charlton. And over at Marvel, he had Werewolf by Night 9 and this debut issue of Ghost Rider. Pretty crazy.
I didn't know that war comics were still popular in the 70s.
Oh, they were winded down, but you had Sergeant.
But besides Sergeant Rock that we're talking about, and like
Sergeant Rock and Sergeant Fury and Weird War Tales.
Weird War Tales. Like, but I mean, outside of those, I thought that taste that had with Vietnam and stuff, people were just kind of like, I don't want to talk about World War II. And
well, I think most of them were on their way out.
Okay,
but no, they survived well into the 70s. Interestingly enough,
that is interesting.
Yeah, but you're right. So a lot of what happened with Tom Sutton's pencils, good and bad. I didn't hate the art this issue, but it was weird.
It's different.
Just because I'm used to what Tom Sutton does in like Skywald and Werewolf by Night. So a lot of that is going to be due to this issue's inker, Sid Shores. So Sid Shores is as old school as you can get. His first credit is Marvel Mystic Comics number 5 from 1941. He inked over Jack Kirby's pencils in Captain America 1.
Wow.
So, yeah, he ended up taking over Captain America in 1942 after Simon and Kirby left Timely. He became the head of Timely's art department for years. After the Atlas implosion, he went to work for Martin Goodman's men's magazines. Like, he basically worked for Martin Goodman for most of his life.
That's rad. It's
kind of cool. I mean, he went into commercial illustration and other stuff like all of them do from time to time, but he just kept it and sucked back into the Marvel Empire. So no, I mean, he served admirably. He has just a fuck ton of credits. He just did everything in every era. And, in the 70s, he branched out a little bit. I think he inked a couple stories for Warren. Probably just at that point because he was kind of a legendary inker. Like he just by default of being around since the very dawn of comics and so,
working so much.
And he's worked so much. But he returned to Marvel. So Ghost Rider 1 and 2 was Sid Shore's final jobs that came out as he died of a heart attack at 57 in June of 1973. So yeah, these are kind of his farewell issues. So I'm pretty excited that we get to go through them.
Me too. Can I just say that he has like the most classic old school jobber name? Like you could say Sid Shores like produced, the first 10 years of the Tonight Show, or anything around this era. It's like, oh, Sid Shores, he was the best manager of comedians in all the 50s. Like, his name is perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, Sid Shores? He's a prince of a man. I love that guy. Best bass player I ever played with in a jazz combo.
Yeah, and he, say what you will about the art of this issue, but he takes Tom Sutton's pencils and turns them into a house-style approved comic.
Definitely.
And to round out the cast, we got George Rousseau on colors and John Costanza on letters, which we know very well throughout all of Werewolf by Night, through Man-Wolf, through everything that we love. So yeah, as far as a group of creators for a number 1 issue, this group is pretty badass.
Do you think that they had to lobby to get Gary's and Tom's names so big and bold in their credits on this cover page? It's like, it looks like, do you know what, when they have the Power Records and like the kids won't understand this plot, or this is referencing an earlier issue, we can't do that, this has to be standalone, so they just like white out and they just write like with Sharpies like maniacs, like Man-Wolf says growl. Like it looks like that.
Yeah, it does.
Very artless.
Yeah, it is very artless. But Yeah, well, let's start out the issue. So the title of our story is A Woman Possessed. And we open on 3 panels of a gravestone that we see reads Victoria Hellstrom. And got to read the narration for this. So the narration reads, early morning, the first rays of dawn are too weak to cut through the heavy fog which enshrouds a tiny cemetery in New England. A hand, it reaches downward through the swirling mists and places a gold cross upon a grave. A man, he stands by the grave and stares at the weather-beaten tombstone, remembering his mother and wondering if he will ever face again.
Panama!
A woman possessed.
It reminds me. Sorry, that's just that those weird exclamatory things at the beginning of each frame made me think of like that palindrome, like a man, a plan, a canal. Panama.
Oh yes.
Early morning. A hand. A man.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, killer 3 first panels though. God, I love that it's
so moody.
Yeah, it's so moody and cool. I mean, on the first one, we're just tight on the headstone, and then as it kind of moves back for the next 2 panels, really, really cool.
Like
but at the bottom, it is a nice crane shot, right? But in the bottom, we get a giant panel of Johnny Blaze. The narration continues while across a continent, a roaring Harley Davidson carries its Satan-possessed rider over the Arizona desert toward the bedside of his beloved and toward possible death from a hail of police bullets just around the bend. Bullets which would be harmless to the Ghost Rider, but ever so fatal to his mortal alter ego, Johnny Blaze. So I'm not a fan of this giant panel. It's weird. Like, it should be so good, but it doesn't. It just, I know it makes sense. I know his feet are supposed to be there, but just in the angle, everything about it, for as cool as the first 3 panels are, this panel is just a piece of garbage.
Yeah, I know that's where his feet are supposed to go, I guess, but God, that looks wrong. He looks
it's so
like
wrong.
A blob. It's like Barber Papa, like.
No, nothing looks good about it. I was just like, oh, that's rough. That's a rough opener.
So let's focus on the cool stuff. The top row, like you said, there's that it's like a crane shot pulling away from this grave site and this visitor to the grave. So I know I've read this material we're going to be covering this season before, but I did have to note, I don't remember very well, but I did have to note that this woman was she died on August 21st of 1953. This is 1973, so I'm guessing Daimon Hellstrom is 20 years old and he probably killed his mom in birth. I don't remember for sure, but this is what I would guess just based on a drama. Person's read a lot of dramatic stuff in his life,
definitely
comics and otherwise. Yes, I'm a fan of how they introduced Daimon Hellstrom in this issue and how he's enshrouded in shadow and you never get to see his face. And it's just this playful flirting with revealing who he is. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be saying this for the whole issue, but I think that Daimon Hellstrom comes off way cooler than Johnny Blaze in this. I think Johnny Blaze is weird in this. Like, he does cool stuff, but he's just in weird situations. Yeah. You barely see him on a motorcycle. It's weird.
No, like so far in this issue, Hellstrom is like Constantine. Like,
yeah,
he's like cool, badass, occult, agent. Yeah. So the next page, and again, we mentioned, folks, that this is taking off from several stories. So we're gonna get some Roy Thomas references to what those are, but also, Jacob, I'm sorry, before we move on, like the whiplash of like having like this total EC House of Mystery, whatever, like, fog shrouded New England graveyard, and then whipping back to Steppenwolf tearing across Arizona. It's like, yeah, you could not be more contrasted, like a better foil. So the next page, I love this art, even though it's kind of a train wreck in weird ways, like not technically, but like we see Johnny Blaze, so we get to see him riding this hog that we saw on the last page, but from the side, so it makes a little more sense, even though it doesn't look more appealing. But he's tearing across the desert, and the police, the narration says, the police are not on his mind, nor his constant battle to avoid the loss of his soul to Satan. On this morning, Johnny Blaze thinks only of a girl named Roxanne, the girl he loves, the girl who at this very moment may lay dying. So he's tearing through. He's wanted. I don't remember why he's wanted, which is kind of a big part of this issue. Did you read the last couple issues? Why is he wanted?
Oh, I can't remember why he's wanted. Okay. Actually, I focused more on his fight with Snake Dance and Sam and
stuff
Linda.
That matters.
Yeah, that's the stuff that matters. Yeah, I forget.
So then we get some flashback panels. He's remembering that Roxanne got bitten by deadly copperheads during a ritual that was conducted by the mad Indian witch doctor called Snake Dance. This was Marvel Spotlight number 9, says Roy. Quite a panel of this blonde with 2 pigtails. Her arms are tied up to something, and 2 copperheads are like biting her wrists, and she looks very shocked in a very Ellie Mae kind of Everglade trash kind of way. She looks very strange. And then we get this very colorful, looking like this looks like there was just like a play set. Like it's Ghost Rider standing in a hospital room, clenching his fists and like ranting and raving, while a doctor and a nurse like look by as he stands over his rocket-breasted girlfriend Roxanne. And the doctor says, if we don't get serum, there's no way she can live. And he's like having a little temper tantrum about it. Like,
no, when I looked at this, he's a sticker.
Yeah, he's a sticker. That's what I'm saying. It looks like color forms, right?
Yeah, yes.
Like, oh, this is the hospital room scene. I can put these wherever I want. But
that's right.
He stands by her and the doctor's here. That's just all there is to do. And then we get another flashback panel. He gets kicked out of the hospital. He's banned from her bedside. And so he's chased in the desert by the police, that's where I got lost. And he's trapped there by the treacherous witch woman. And Roy says, hey, that was Marvel Spotlight 11, which was previous issue. So yeah, we get a cool panel of him being bound to some Pueblo walls. They're in Pueblo ruins. That was it was a weird issue, the last issue.
It was a weird issue.
And she's like wearing hot pants and go-go boots. And binding his wrists magically to the Pueblo walls. And then he says, she failed in her mission and she was possessed by the devil. And so the devil compels her to jump off the Pueblo walls down like several stories and burst into flame and explode. And he's popping a wheelie. He pops lots of wheelies, which is cool. He's watching her fall in flames and explode like a propane tank on the desert floor as he pops a wheelie and tears off. And this last panel on the bottom is very long and skinny horizontally. It's cool, man. Like red sky, yellow desert floor, yellow cops. Like Rousseau does some cool stuff with color here to show heat in this Arizona, like on the reservation, here in the desert, on the like the hard baked, whatever. And I love whenever Sutton and Shores do these like close ups and these cool like layouts where it's showing the depth. Like here on the left hand side, you see Johnny Blaze's profile. His hand is even closer. It's like in a 3D depth of field kind of way as he's holding onto the handlebars, and he's watching these cops, and he's like, well, I'm going too fast to stop. The only chance is to crash it, and that's kind of a long shot itself. So yeah, he's kicking ass, and he can't stop in time. So there's a police barricade. What do you think of this page?
There's a lot going on. I mean,
there's a lot.
It has to tell us a lot because they have to catch us up, because the characters we're going to be introduced to in like 2 pages, all of them have been major characters in the Marvel Spotlight Ghost Rider. Like, yeah. I mean, it's huge. So what was called the Witch Woman in this panel is actually
Linda
Littletrees. That's right. And then there's also Sam, who I think I can't remember how he's related to Snake Dance. Or
he loves
Linda. Yeah. So Linda and Snake Dance, Snake Dance is her dad. Yeah. They've been a huge part of the book up to this point. I think we met Sam when they were planning this Copperhead Canyon jump.
Yes.
And and Sam was trying to stop Ghost Rider from doing this jump.
So this big stunt, I gathered from reading some bios online and stuff like that on Marvel.com, was like this stunt of the Copperhead Canyon took up the majority of the Ghost Rider run to date. Because the Native Americans and the reservation that were adjacent to where this was happening were opposed to it because it was going to raise property values and bring in unwanted traffic or something. I don't know what it was, but like, I think the property values was the issue. Like they wouldn't be able to afford stuff like adjacent to their own res.
Yes.
Which
No, that's absolutely
unjust.
Yeah, yeah, and which was cool. It was a cool thing to have in this comic for sure. But no, I like this page. There's a lot going on. I love the color from Ghost Rider. And yeah, that bottom panel, it's like he's Johnny Hazard or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just some kind of adventure comic. And yeah, a lot of that is gonna we get that flavor a lot in here. And again, it's because Sid Shores did everything. A lot of these faces. He inked a lot of Jungle comics too. And so a lot of these faces, I was like, oh yeah, this is from, Lorna the Jungle Girl.
Yeah, that's rad. I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too. So next page, we see Johnny break through the police barrier. And he's saying, nothing's going to keep me from Rocky. Not as long as I'm the greatest stunt rider alive. And yeah, he just plows through the police barrier looking not great. That's not a great depiction of Johnny Blaze. He looks very strange. I don't know. It was weird. This was weird. I almost, on a lot of the times when I think it wasn't a great pairing, I don't know. Was Tom just so loose there or so weird that as Sid Shores is trying to manipulate that, it just makes the proportions all weird? I was trying to parse it out in my brain.
Like Sid having to commit to a line, almost like it doesn't work when like one hard defining line is chosen. So it just kind of looks a little wonky when a more regulated inker comes in and tries to rein in Sutton's pencils. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I think that sounds about right to me, not knowing, of course, but I was trying to figure it out because a lot of these, like Tom Sutton and Sid Shores, are both incredible artists. Absolutely. And so when these panels look weird, you're just like, something wasn't communicated there. Yeah. Like, I know that Sutton wouldn't draw that. And I know Sid Shores wouldn't ink that if he didn't have to.
And Tom Sutton wouldn't have made this, laid this out to be this much of a page if he believe in his pencils and its function in the story.
Exactly.
So you're right. There's just a fundamental disconnect between their approaches to what they're doing here, storytelling wise. He looks like Hex from the 80s sci-fi Hex.
He did. Anyway. I thought you would really dig that.
I did dig that.
Yeah.
That's my happy place. Whenever it didn't make sense to me, I was just like, well, at least he looks kind of like Hex.
Yeah. I actually really love that second panel because all of those cops look as classic comic cops as possible.
That's Shores, right? I mean, this looks like a Shores. 50s crime or whatever, like comic. Like it looks like class. This page largely, the bottom half of this page looked very 50s to me. I think that's Shores.
Oh, it's Shores, and it's kind of even more 40s in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like he was just there forever. And so, yeah, this is very classic crime comic at this point for sure. So yeah, the cops start shooting at him, get him in the shoulder. And Johnny's thinking after he's been shot, he's like, got to straighten up, got to get out of here. If I pile out, I'll be a sitting duck. And then that's when he gets shot. And he says, got my shoulder. No way to hold on. Gonna crack up for sure. And yeah, again, we just get kind of a weird angle of him there. So many of these panels don't work for me.
Yeah, he's got a weird horse face quality in this one. And yeah, it's very fluid. I find every panel interesting in its own way. Like the cop shooting, like that second panel is amazing, man. But it doesn't fit like with what came before, what comes after. Like it's just not a good pairing. I just have to. He does the next one too. Is that what you're saying? The same team?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I just tried to focus on the story here. Like, what? Again, I was asking you, like, why are they like willing to shoot to kill this guy? What did he do? Like, blowing through a barricade isn't. I mean, he's white, so
that's. So there's no consequences whatsoever.
No, I mean,
no, obviously.
If he was someone else, I don't know. Yeah, that page was weird to me. Its flow, this weird, I feel like I was flying through decades between panels.
Yeah, but between panels, like that's the problem. There's no like continuous theme in this art, and we're only on just the first couple pages.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not great.
So I'm kind of a fan of this action page here. The art is very cool. So Johnny just got shot in the shoulder. He's holding his shoulder. He says, "My hand frozen to the throttle and wide open." So apparently I don't know what's going on, but he's just gunning it out of control because he just got shot and he's having this weird nervous reaction to that. And you see flames flying out of the back of his, I'm not going to pretend I know motorcycle stuff. The back holes of the tubes.
Ooh, that's classy right there. That's got to be right.
But yeah, so he's clinching the throttle or whatever, rolling the throttle back, and flames are flying out. And we get these cool panels with Rousseau just doing solid red backgrounds and this great close up of him saying, "Getting dizzy, starting to veer off the road. Oh man, this is it." And he looks amazing in that panel. Yeah. His like beautiful dry, the dry look hair blowing. And the next panel, also red background, he eats shit. He's flying free fall like through the air. And then a Liechtenstein theft ready panel of him laid out in his leathers as his bike just explodes. Yeah, Liechtenstein probably would have sold a lot of this. And this last panel at the bottom also is very 50s to me. Like these cops were like the hard brow of their cop hat is like covering their eyes so they're like dehumanized, like in a stormtrooper kind of way. Like, "That's one crack up that was no stunt show fake. How is he, Chief? Is he?" And they're the guys in the foreground's checking him unconscious. "Nope, he's still breathing, but he's hurt bad. Call an ambulance. He'll be lucky if he makes it to the hospital." Yeah, the police cars are green. The sky is yellow. Just interesting choices from Rousseau that made me engage with it more than I think I would have if it were just like a blue sky and white cars.
Are you reading a scan or a digital?
This is a scan of the paper copy.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that you were going to read a scan because I'm reading it on Marvel Unlimited, and so I have some coloring questions later on.
Okay.
But it seems like the color, what you're describing is what I'm seeing as well. So cool. I'm glad you're reading a scan because I was curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that page. I like the panel of him, looking weird and scared, and his hair is very flowing in that panel, which I really like. Yeah, and I love the cops on the bottom. I don't know. Sutton and Shores, they can draw good cops. Yeah. they do a good crime comic.
There's a lot of this issue to me felt like it was this would have easily fit into a romance comic that was like basically like a Shangri-La's song, like made into a romance comic. Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Yep. But on the next page, we kind of switch focus. The top narration here reads, "Several miles away from the crash site, yet another tragedy is unfolding on a shabby Indian reservation as an old Apache medicine man who once called himself Snake Dance discovers." And then, we kind of, okay, so I really dig this first panel. So
me too.
So we see that Snake Dance and his son and Sam are looking over Linda, who is Linda Littletrees, and she's lying on a bed with her eyes open in this kind of creepy stare. And the old man says he found her there staring at the ceiling, her eyes open but unseeing, and he's seen it many years before. It's the work of a demon. And Sam wants him to get a doctor, but he says, "I may be an old fool, but this I have witnessed before. You must believe me. When the eyes grow wide and the skin becomes like new fallen snow, a devil is responsible. That is only Linda's body we see lying there. Her soul is gone, stolen by the forces of darkness, and there's nothing we can do to save her." But I love this tree. I actually think that this whole page and that top panel especially are really, really great.
So when you say top panel, you mean the one where Sam Silvercloud is busting in?
Yeah, that one. I love the angle of it, and I love all the stuff on the wall and the coloring and how Linda is.
Super effective panel of conveying information about place and culture, right? Yeah. I thought you meant that first panel because I like that one that says like U.S. Gov Indian Reservation, where it's literally just yellow.
That was one of my questions that I had for this page was because, it's really bright. Like all the colors obviously are really bright on Marvel Unlimited, but that one especially, I was like, ooh, is that real? Is that how it really was?
So one thing I think is really cool that Rousseau did is, I've been to Arizona a few times. It's hot as fuck. I imagine that this reservation is hot. I imagine that, later on it's referred to as essentially a shack. So they don't have AC. There's no central air. So the backgrounds are red and yellow almost interchangeably throughout every scene that is in this shack, showing that it feels like fire, right? So Rousseau's just kind of hinting that it's so hot, like it's stiflingly hot. You draw your air in, it makes your lungs catch because it's just dry, hot air. So I thought that was cool. Like he's just saying like, it's just heat blasted this whole place in that first panel, and you get it. And it plays out to the rest of this and you don't notice it until you do. I was confused though, because her dad says, this is how I found her staring at the ceiling. And it's like, but the last issue, she failed to capture Ghost Rider's soul, and the devil literally compelled her to point her hands at herself, use her powers to light herself on fire, and jump off the cliff of a pueblo. So I'm not sure how she got home and just entranced, but that's cool. I love the art. I love that bottom left panel of that close up of Snake Dance. Very EC. Very
EC.
Like EC, like witch doctor-y kind of face or something.
It's almost Graham Engels in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's very Graham Engels. All the line work on the wrinkles and stuff. So we cut to the hospital, and we get to see that same person who was bitten by the copperheads during the ritual that Snake Dance was doing a couple issues ago. And a guy that has a bowl cut comes in. He's got like Prince Valiant hair, or I don't know. And he comes in and he's got flowers for this gal who's Roxanne. They call her Rocky. And she says, Bart, that's very sweet of you. It's so good to see a familiar face. She says, I guess I had a close call, because she was almost died from snake venom. And she's like, but I feel fine this morning. And she puts the flowers in a vase. By the way, younger people listening to this, you used to be able to take flowers into a hospital. You can't do that now because of allergies, apparently. But at one point, you could do that. So this guy is Bart. His name is Bart Slade, which is the most badass name ever.
It's pretty badass.
And he says, hey, we could use you back at the show since Johnny Blaze hasn't been showing up lately. And she's like, but he saved my life. He was here with me last night. He's like, yeah, but I might just be Bart Slade, but Mr. High and Mighty, or Mr. High and Mighty Johnny Blaze's road manager, but I'm also worried about the show. So if you don't know, apparently the stunt show has been suffering because Johnny Blaze has been afflicted with the devil taking his soul, or what, I don't know what the hell's going on. But this guy manages him and is frustrated. He says, if your flame-faced boyfriend doesn't start writing, it's going to go broke. So at this point, do they believe that Johnny, is he saying, no, this isn't actually a flaming skull, I'm wearing a mask and it's for drumming up business for our show? Like, do they
That's
not?
right.
They believe that he's doing a show. He's not actually.
Do they personally? No. I mean, but everyone else, right?
Oh, no, I mean them.
Yeah. Oh, you mean them?
Do they know that his flesh is turning transparent and his skull is bursting into flame? And
at this point, I don't know. I mean, this isn't a hard reset, obviously, from the Marvel Spotlight, because it's a continuing story, but it's a bit of a reset in a weird way, it seems. Okay.
So yeah, he's concerned, and he says, we'll all be unemployed if that happens, and Johnny better stop this vanishing act of his. And meanwhile, Johnny himself is being rolled in on a gurney to the hospital, and the cop's like, this guy's at death's door, man, get out of the way.
Better call a priest instead of a surgeon.
Yep. Not much to note here. This Bart Slade dude gets drawn a lot later in the issue, like a Jack Kirby, like Moon Boy. But
definitely.
But so far, he's just a dude.
I have a big question for you. What color is Bart's hair in the scan?
It is navy blue.
What the hell?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Why is his hair blue the entire time?
Because I don't know. That's a great question.
It's weird. George Rousseau, he doesn't make many mistakes, but I didn't understand that. I'm not saying it's a mistake. It's weird. It's kind of cool, but it made me think about the coloring.
It makes sense. Like when we would see Jessica Drew's hair as Spider-Woman, and it was black with some blue highlights. That makes art sense.
Well, that makes total art sense, and that looks badass. But just like
straight up blue with
manic panic blue.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I'm glad you said that because I thought that was a little weird.
So yeah, he looks like Peter Noon, but as a blueberry man.
Yeah. All right, next page, we go back to the reservation where Snake Dance wants to stay with Linda until the demon lets her soul rest. But Sam has another idea. He storms out of the room and heads straight to a payphone, picks it up, and says, "That's right, operator. Person to person, Mr. Daimon Hellstrom in Boston." Person to person always gets me. Oh, yeah. There we go.
I'm drinking the first mention of Daimon Hellstrom.
Oh, I'm drinking to that, but also to person to person.
And to that. Klondike, whatever.
Klondike 537 calling. Yeah. He says, "Would you please hurry? This is an emergency." And then the last two panels are so cool. This is why I think that Hellstrom's the coolest fucking character in this issue by far. We see this shadowy figure again, sitting in a fancy chair. I'm assuming fancy leather chair in a nice study full of what I'm assuming are cool occult books and relics. And the phone rings and the man in the chair says, "Whoa, oh, the phone. I must have dozed off. Perhaps it's a customer. I could certainly use one." He answers the phone and says, "Yes, this is Daimon Hellstrom. May I be of some service to you? My ad in the newspaper. Yes, I have that ad placed across the country, and I do specialize in expelling demons." Oh man, this is pretty great. It is setting up the entire deal in these two panels.
Yep. So I forget, but he seems to have a nice house. Is he really broke?
That was weird. I didn't understand that. He's like, "Ooh, I really, really need the scratch right now."
Maybe he's saying I could use one just to like occupy myself or start my quest, I guess.
Yeah, I think maybe that would make sense because this is his first one.
And I was amusing myself by thinking that was not like an Arizona newspaper he had an ad in. It was like the weekly where this is the back pages where all the porn stuff and like the erotic massage is, where it's like, oh, really small there. It says, "Got demons? Call now." Like, sorry, I got to save some money. I can't, have a really lengthy ad. I love those last two panels, and particularly that last one where his study is all in blue and he's all in yellow in the foreground, and there's just those heavy shadows of the extreme close-up. Whenever these guys do these close-ups, I fucking love them. That's my favorite stuff in the whole issue.
Yeah, I mean, so far, Hellstrom has the best panels. Any of the panels that he's been in have been our favorites of the issue. That can't be, that can't be coincidence. Maybe Sutton really, really dug drawing Hellstrom and kind of do this kind of storytelling, kind of in the shadowy figure and stuff. I don't know. They're the coolest ones to me.
I love when Sam Silvercloud storms off when Linda's dad is saying, like, stay with her until the demon, lets her soul rest. Like, you stay with her, old man. I've got another idea. That's your Love's dad, by the way.
Yep. Yeah.
So in that bottom left panel, when the phone rings, I was like, is that a portrait of Simon Garth, the Marvel zombie in the background?
It sure looked like it, right?
It did. And this was also the month, by the way, that the first issue of Tales of the Zombie was published. I'm sure it was not intentional, but it was like, that looks like Simon Garth. We get a beautiful, some more shots of the inside of this study or this den or whatever you want to call this. There's tons of books lining the walls. There's an Ankh. There's that portrait, which is not Simon Garth. It's actually a woman. It's probably his mom. There's skulls. There's a Sasquatch bust. I don't know what that is, but you're saying that this is like a guy who collects the odd and is studied, versed in the occult. And in the second panel, there's even a Holy Bible up on a reading stand. So, he's varied. He's whatever. So he's like, I see. It certainly does sound like a case of possession. But of course I'm interested. It's my business. Now, you say her name is Linda Littletrees, and her body temperature is very low, and her eyes have a yellow cast to them. Very well, Mr. Silvercloud, I believe you have a case I should investigate. And this is all like him in his armchair. Again, you don't get to see him. You see him from behind, and then you see a side shot where the side of the chair is blocking him. And then we cut back to the phone booth on the reservation. He's like, but can you really help her? And if you can you get up to Arizona right away? And this man, Daimon, says, yeah, I will depart on the next flight, Mr. Silvercloud. And rest assured, I am no charlatan. Believe me, if the girl is truly possessed, I can save her. I'll see you in a few hours. And as he hangs up the phone, he thinks, so my first case. After all these weeks of waiting, how I welcome the challenge. And then we cut in on the bottom row to two pretty good sized panels, close up to him, his torso as he's unbuttoning his green dress shirt. For years, I have wallowed about in a quagmire of indecision. But now my future is set. And he opens the shirt in the last panel and reveals a red star and a red pentagon.
And a pentagon.
He says, I stand, and he's fingering it like absentmindedly. I stand determined to stamp out the heritage of my birth and to rid myself forever of the stigma of evil attached to this mark of Satan birthmark on my chest. And he looks like he's like turning himself on a little bit. Like
it does a little bit. I'm
weird.
not going to lie. Yeah,
he's fingering his pentagon star.
Maybe it itches.
Maybe it burns. I didn't know that a yellow cast to the sclera of the eye was a sign of possession. I thought it was cirrhosis.
Yeah.
Of the liver.
It can be both.
It can be both.
Yeah, this page is super badass. I mean, anytime Hellstrom shows up, that panel is going to be awesome. Yep. And yeah, this page is no exception. I did like that when we in that second panel, we kind of get a profile shot, and we see that the book that is open, that has kind of the most prestigious place in the study, and it is the Holy Bible. I
think Roy was concerned.
Yeah, I think it's, well, no, I mean, it's a part of Hellstrom. So
it is.
Yeah. So I think I felt it was more just, setting up these character traits for us.
Yeah. But I mean, I was jokingly alluding to the fact that, Stan just said, these supernatural books are selling like gangbusters. Do a Satan book. And Roy's like, can it be the son of Satan? And he's fighting against his dad. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. That is the origin. On the next page, the cops show up at Rocky's hospital room and tell her that Johnny tried to run a roadblock and they shot him. Bart with the blue hair yells at him saying, well, you've done it, coppers. Get out of here. You've done enough damage for one day. Rocky says, stop it, Bart. He's only doing what he had to do. We have to worry about Johnny. And Bart kind of tries to comfort her, being like, yeah, sure, baby. Guess I flew off the handle because I was so shook by the news. Sorry, officer, you can go now, though. I'll take care of her. So this made me laugh on the final panel because the cop is kind of slinking out of the room and he says, okay. And for the record, I hope he pulls through. He's the greatest stunt biker alive. Which I think is funny. We've had to hear that phrase twice in this issue. Mm-hmm. Because we've seen Johnny Blaze ride a motorcycle once and crash.
Yeah.
So, we need reminding of that.
To be clear.
To be clear. And the cop is a fan, and he says he's the greatest stunt biker alive. And whatever he did, I'm sure he had a good reason if he just lives to tell us about it. So those bottom two panels, especially, so romance.
Yes, God, that bottom left is so, both of them are. You're right.
Both of them.
I have to admit, I did kind of when the art wasn't clicking for me, I was just falling back to like this. At least it could be like a romance comic. Like,
yeah, I know.
Doing this show with you has made me realize how much I love romance comics, and
romance comics are the best.
Yeah. So if nothing else, I can imagine that this was again like a Shangri-La's thing. But I do love this guy's look. He's got the rust colored turtleneck and the blue hair and a blue suit jacket. And I don't know what color his pants are, but he looks like he's in some weird mod band. Like if his hair is black If there's like 4 of them and they all look exactly the same, it'd be like some kind of Kinks,
No, he's in the creation.
The creation, totally. It's a mod. It's a freak beat band. Totally. Oh my God, you're right. So we cut back to the res, back to that shack, and Sam Silvercloud is tying her Linda to the bed to make sure she doesn't, escape before Daimon can get there. And he has to go to work. So he's telling her dad, like, hey, call me if anything comes up. And her dad's just like, I'll watch over her, but it's only a death vigil. There's no magic to cure her. So this guy's a bummer. But a really nice portrait of her in the foreground of that panel as he's kind of just resignedly collapsed in this chair as Sam's leaving. And she's in the foreground with this dead stare. Beautiful. Occasionally. And so it gets weird because her eyes start sparkling, and it just kind of says that her dad is old, he's tired, and he doesn't notice that her eyes start glowing. And there's this creepy, she's all cast in orange with black and blue behind her. So this is a sign that Satan's like coming back to claim his shit. And sure enough, it just says like that her dad just, not only is he sleepy, but he fully falls asleep. And as he does so, he's in a fitful slumber at least, but this huge cloud emanates out from nowhere, and Satan springs out and says, "Awake, Linda Little Tree, awake and serve your master." And he looks kind of like the way they render him is almost like the way they deal with Dormammu, or like where it's kind of just lines to indicate a face because we couldn't even conceive of it, right? Like, but he has horns and it's just black hatch marks on red background. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
He says, "I told you would have a second chance to serve me." That was last issue. And Roy, by the way, last issue was actually Marvel Spotlight 11, so it's kind of confusing, but whatever.
So weird.
And he says the moment has arrived, because last time she failed him, he made her set herself on fire and jump off of a 100-foot high cliff. So she says, "I hear you, master, and I will obey. You have only to ask and I will serve." He says, "Good, then I must ask the use of your body. My soul will possess it, while yours rests peacefully in limbo," which I'm sure Satan is like never going to fuck you in the, whatever, the ear. "Until such time as I can capture the soul of Johnny Blaze. What say you, my servant? Do you agree to this?" So her eyes are still glimmering with this weird creepiness, and he still looks like Dormammu engulfed in flames, and just like, it felt like beneath the great Satan. Like, so you're so obsessed. Somehow, did Johnny Blaze trick him or something? Where it's like, "Oh, like the devil went down to Georgia. Like, I'm going to get your soul.
Yeah,
you tricked me once." I don't know what's going on in the background, but this seemed hilarious to me. But he wants her body again. If you did not read the previous issues, folks, again, Snake Dance came up and she was introduced as his daughter, but then she gets her own side story where she goes to college. She's the first person on her reservation and her family to go to college with a scholarship, and she goes, and the person she's roomed with is a witch who chooses her to be an offering to Satan, and so she starts reading all these satanic books with her roommate, like, "Oh, this is fun. Satanism's entertaining and clever, isn't it?" And then she is possessed. So interesting backstory for Linda Littletrees.
Yeah, she's a cool character.
I liked her.
Yeah, she was awesome. She's great in the Marvel Spotlight issues, and yeah, she's pretty cool. But
Question.
Okay, gotcha.
People were asking on our Discord server. By the way, we have a Discord server for the show, and we've been having so much fun on there since we started that. It's just, a typical message board like the old days. We talk about comics, movies, music, miscellanea, deep thoughts, all that kind of stuff. We just shoot the shit, collectibles. I'm going to stick an invite in the notes here. It's good for 7 days. So if you catch this in the next week and you want to join us, we'd love to have you there. But people were talking about who would play Linda Littletrees, and our friend Tim Tucker, the writer, said, "Matt, would you want Carolyn Monroe to play her?" I was like, "Of course I would, because
of course
she's amazing. If we were doing this in 73,
but no,
but she is a native character." And I said I would. It would be awesome if we could have a Native American play her, but that wouldn't happen in 73 most likely. But so I didn't know who I would cast. Maybe the woman that showed up to the Oscars for Brando and accepted his award in her stead, or her award, his award in her stead. I mean, you remember that? when she showed up, and I forgot her name, but that was awesome. Let's use her. But no, if we're doing this today, there's an actress named Julia Jones who is a Native American, mixed ethnicity, but Native American largely, and she was in that movie with Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen called Wind River, which is maybe the same director that made Hell or High Water. He's in this trilogy of American kind of crime films. Wind River's really good, but just trigger warning if you it's centered around a case around sexual assault that's pretty brutal. But she played one of the girls in that, and she's amazing, and she's Native truly, and she looks like she would be perfect. So I say Julia Jones if we do it now. Back then, it probably wouldn't be a Native person, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, good casting.
Yeah. So I'll post a picture of Julia Jones. She's stunning, and or anyone from Reservation Dogs. Have you watched that yet?
I haven't.
Damn it!
I know. I'll start.
I gotta get you on that show.
I know. No,
you watched
I will.
Atlanta though.
I did.
I didn't steer you wrong there.
No, I loved it.
Same caliber.
Right. Really? Come on, really?
Fucking serious.
That's high. That's a high bar right there.
This is one of the first shows that is about Native Americans that is written, directed, whatever, starring all Native people. And Taika Waititi is the producer, steering the show.
Oh no, I mean, I know. It sounds awesome, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. Well, I really want you to see it because I want to talk about it. But anyway, back to the comic.
Yeah. So on the next page, I love the art on this page. It's pretty crazy. In the first panel, we have Satan engulfing the bed, saying then, first Linda Littertree says, "I trust you, Master, and I will serve you in any way you wish." And Satan says, "Let your mind go blank and rest peacefully until I can return your soul to your body. You are a faithful servant, and in the end, you will be rewarded." And so then, we get this kind of scary panel where the actual Linda is just like, "Oh, I'm burning with fever. I feel like I'm on fire." And her face is genuinely she's genuinely scared. She says, "The pain, Master, do what you must, but in the pain." And then the next panel, she is fully possessed and her face looks scary in a very different way. And Satan has totally possessed her, saying, "It is done. Linda Littletrees lives no more. And now, still possessing all of my hellspawn powers, I, Satan, am free to roam the earth in her body." So what did you think of that third panel there?
I absolutely loved it. It's just my mind immediately went to the way that the artists are rendering the word balloons. I know that her voice has changed. So I was trying to imagine the voice from The Exorcist or but we find out later it's her dad's that's a man's voice. It must be the devil. So it's holy shit. So she's doesn't even sound like The Exorcist. She sounds like a full on whatever Satan sounds like when he talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that third panel.
So in the last one, she breaks her bonds and runs off. And Snake Dance wakes up and he says, "Linda, where are you going? Stop." And the devil in her says, "Out of my way, old man. I have no time to be bothered with you. Your wretched soul will be mine soon enough." And then, he falls down. He's like, "You're talking crazy, Linda. And that voice like a man's. It is the devil. It must be." Yeah, it's a great last panel. It really made me laugh. And him kind of falling out of his chair is funny. I know it's not a funny scene, but that made me laugh.
And the next to the last panel of her zooming by as he's going, "Ooh," like Jughead or something. She looks like the Flash, right? But she's dressed. She's dressed like Wonder Girl or whatever the Teen Titans.
Totally.
Amazon or whatever. She looks like her. But I love that angle of the last panel. She's bolting out of the door of the shack as he's falling out of his chair. Very cool layout. Very cool perspective.
Yeah.
I just want to hear her voice. So we cut to Johnny, and he's waking up. His head's splitting. He feels like he's broken every bone in his body. He's like, "Oh, I'm in the hospital, but why? How did? Oh, the crash early this morning." So then there's nurses and doctors around. They're saying, "Oh, he's going to pull through. He's conscious," and they're saying, "Yeah, but he's critical. You got to keep him as quiet as possible." And then the nurse says, "Well, take it easy and try to sleep. It's almost dark anyway." And he looks out the window and says, "Dark? But it can't be. What will happen to me?" So I'm drinking for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing
for
we're going
that
to
too.
experience next issue, but I like it. So they decide to keep a nurse posted outside of his door just in case. And he's like, I'm too woozy from the painkillers to think clearly, but I must. And the doctors are filing out and shutting the door behind them. And he's like, okay, they're leaving me alone. That's a break for me, in any case. But he sits up. He's like, how can I sleep? The sun's gone down. It's almost night. Will I change? Or did the accident put a stop to it? And if I do change, what kind of effect will the injuries have on the Ghost Rider? So, again, this is a parallel with like werewolfism, where it's like you would expect that turning into the supernatural version of yourself would heal your wounds, but he's not sure because apparently his life has been nuts for the last few months. So yeah, unremarkable art for the most part. I do like that one panel where it's a close up on him looking out the window as the red sky, the sun setting, but it's all right.
Yeah, no, that's the only decent panel in this grid. Yeah, kind of an unremarkable page, but it gets the job done.
Yep.
I do like the art on the next page a lot better, though. Johnny starts to change in this really cool, like 3-panel sequence that looks more like the usual Tom Sutton style.
Yep.
Like suddenly it's like Tom Sutton inked those panels.
I think Tom got interested and actually penciled the shit out of them and then said just followed his lead.
Probably. Like maybe everything else was just so damn rough. I mean, maybe he at this time paid more attention to the Werewolf by Night issue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, thankfully for that. But no, this is great. So we get this sequence of Johnny in that first panel, and he's saying it's beginning, and it's just he's all colored in red and starting to kind of turn. And then he's basically all skull the next one. He says, no way to stop it now. So he's transformed. He says, evidently nothing can change it. The transformation occurs every night, no matter what. And now, once again, I am the Ghost Rider. So it's established now. And then we get... I was just going to say, you were talking color form before. I think he's back to his color form guys in that 5th panel. Because in that panel also, he realizes, he's like, my injuries, they seem to be healed. I'm in perfect health again. He's like, evidently, what happens to Johnny Blaze has no effect on the Ghost Rider. So yeah, maybe all of this is just exposition to be like, look, kids, this is my power set. And this is what it does. And these are the rules. So I guess this is a rules page.
I like rules, though.
I know you do.
Well, I mean, it sets up parameters to play within, right? I mean, that's true. That's what makes it fun.
It is
for
fun.
Me. Can I just say that that first panel, that transformation rules, like you said, that first panel though, where he's red and you can see teeth starting to show through his cheek, is so cool because someone had just posted something where it was a revelation to them that his flesh doesn't burn off; it becomes transparent. At least in these early days. So it's almost like the Visible Man, those models, like where it's like he's not losing flesh; it's just becoming invisible, and his skull is remaining and being lit.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy detailed.
Weird. I love
it. So Ghost Rider has escaped his hospital room. He made it down to the street thanks to the deserted service entrance. And then I love that he sneaks out. He jumps into a nearby cab and he says, ask no questions, mortal. Merely take me to Copperhead Canyon. I am to jump it tonight on a motorcycle. And then the cabbie says, what in blazes? Oh, yeah, you must be Johnny Blaze in your ghost get up. Get in, I'll take you. But cool it with that spooky voice, huh? So like he's trying to be all scary. And the guy's like, you're just Johnny Blaze, dude. You're my favorite. Let's go take you to the jump. It's really funny. And then, the last thing Johnny thinks is, if I don't arrive in time, Bart is liable to attempt it. And I must not let that happen.
I had so many questions on this page. Before I get into that, though, I love that he's saying, when the sun rises, I'll have to be back here. Otherwise, Johnny Blaze will die from his injuries. Kind of a cool, weird complication of like, my other self is at death's door. I'm fine. I have so many hours to go out and do my thing, but I have to be back here and like hooked up back to my machines when I turn back into my mortal form or I'm dead. kind of a neat little wrinkle.
It's a neat little wrinkle. Kind of Jane Foster Thor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And then again, in my notes, I was just saying, I wish Brad were here to explain the psyche of Blaze / GR at this point. Like, because he's Johnny. I mean, Ghost Rider doesn't care about Bart jumping a canyon. So like Johnny's in there, if not driving. So I don't understand what this change. It's not a change of persona. It's just a physical change at this point, and his soul is gone. It sounds like.
Can't you hear Brad yelling at us right now?
I know.
I hear him yelling at us.
Yep. So on the next page, Linda has arrived, and we see a cab in the background that says "Read Marvel." But she's stalking in this very determined, like Terminator way, and I like to imagine like that she just literally walked or ran from the reservation to the hospital, but I'm sure she didn't. So she says, so Johnny Blaze has been hurt and is in the hospital. So much the better. In his weakened state, he will be less apt to resist me. So this is fully the devil compelling her, and she asks what room he's in, and the nurse is like, well, he's in 210, but he can't have any visitors. She's like, and then she thinks, Linda, a good thing I remember to disguise my voice. The raspy tones of Satan coming from a girl might have proved disastrous. Like, oh, good one, old Scratch.
Yeah.
And so there's an alert while she's in this room, like, hey, Johnny Blaze has disappeared. And they're all freaking out. And like, did anyone see him escape? I don't know how he could have got out of here. And then someone says, hey, that girl over there was just asking for him, doctor, says a nurse. And meanwhile, she's like disappearing in a boom tube. Like this weird pillar of smoke and sparkles appears around her, and she's gone. Mm-hmm. The doctor's like, what girl? There's no one over there. It's like, she was just there. This is no joking matter, Miss Ames. The man is critically injured. And then we get a weird zoom in on some guy randomly. He's like, and yet he managed to leave the hospital somehow. Now you give me a disappearing girl? I don't know what this is all about, but believe me, I intend to find out after you've called the police, of course. So he's like the cop in Werewolf by Night all of a sudden. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, after those two panels, I'm like, oh, is he going to be a recurring character from now on?
Dr. Like, Inspector?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that the boom tube was a little weird. I thought it was I don't know. I don't think that.
So that's Satan saying, he's not even here. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, either he turns her invisible, or he just teleports away. He is Satan. He can teleport.
Yeah, but she's still wearing a mini skirt and go-go boots.
Yes, she is. Yeah. So, all right, we cut to Copperhead Canyon, where Bart is ready to make the dangerous jump. I like that Rocky tries to talk him out of it. She's like, this is crazy, Bart. This jump would have been risky for Johnny. For a writer with no more experience than you, it's suicide. Kind of a burn. But she's right.
She's not wrong.
Yeah. So he says, you're wrong, Rocky, and I'm going to prove it to you. I've always been as good as Blaze, even better, now that I can prove that's the truth. Besides, the show is dying because a star is never around. If I can make this jump, I can change all that, and I'm going to make it for the show and for us. And so, he's charmed Rocky again. And she's like, you're wonderful, Bart, but please be careful. And then we get the announcer who says, and there he goes, ladies and gentlemen, a mere stand-in for Johnny Blaze is going to attempt to make cycling history, or as many of us fear, get himself killed in the attempt. It's not a pep talk.
No, and this is over the PA.
Yeah.
So he's hearing all this. Was this a love triangle? Because she seems, I don't know. You're wonderful, Bart. I don't know. Is this a supportive kiss on the cheek, or is this a love triangle between Johnny, Bart, and Roxanne?
I thought there were shades of that in the previous issues. But
okay.
Like I say, I only read the last 4 before this.
Okay. So yeah, we go on to a, apparently Evel Knievel and stunt stuff was really popular at 73. So we have to have a stunt. So we get the PA continues, and it says, this is Howard Gifford. So they put Howard Cosell and wasn't it Frank Gifford, the former footballer / sportscaster together, so they get sued. And he's just explaining the whole thing. A virtually unknown cyclist named Bart Slade is about to attempt an Evel Knievel and Johnny Blaze have only talked about, blah, blah. And he's at the ramp of one side of the thing, and it's just all explaining the stunt. But it's interesting because on the bottom row, it says he's halfway up the ramp now, still accelerating and looking very stable on his way to fame or disaster. And we get this great panel in the middle of the bottom row that he is all in red and black with a blue background. Very fucking cool. And he's thinking, speed good. Trajectory looks perfect. I'm going to make it. I have to make it. It's all I've ever lived for. So he's saying trajectory looks perfect. But then with the next panel, he hasn't even jumped off the ramp yet. Like,
yeah,
you're thinking about trajectory now? Wouldn't that be the math leading up to this thing months before? So yeah, the Howard Cosell stand-in says, hold your breaths along with the multitudinous throng gathered here, America. He's at the edge of the ramp and about to go hurtling through space. In a fraction of a second, we'll all know if the reward of this young man's courage is glory or death. And he hits the lip of the ramp. He's reached the apex. Exciting stuff, I guess, if you're 10 years old.
Yeah, that's right. I love the colors on this. I especially love that bottom middle panel where he's so all cool. In red and his face is so cool. Anytime anyone is arms are like straddling some handlebars, it just
looks terrible.
It looks terrible. I don't know. It doesn't look like. No, it looks wrong and weird.
Look at how big those handlebars look.
Yeah, it's
he's holding on the Minotaur's horns.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It doesn't look right.
He's doing reps on some weird fucking machine in the gym.
Yeah, I know. But on the next page, we hear the announcer say he's airborne. So Johnny's cab arrives right as he's rocketing off the ramp. Johnny's thinking, "Oh God, I'm too late. All I can do is watch and pray."
That's Johnny. I mean, he's Ghost Rider, but that is Johnny inside his head, right?
Yeah, that was Johnny inside his head. Yeah.
I don't get it.
The announcer says he looks strong at the apex of his trajectory, and now he's starting down. And then we get Rocky, very sad, scared. Praying. Yeah, I think she's praying. I think beatific is definitely the best word there. She said, please God, let him make it. Let him make this jump safely. The announcer says he's coming fast, but he looks like he's gonna make it. He appears to have the necessary distance. Yes, he is gonna make it. He's on a straight path for the far ramp. History is about to be made. We go back into Bart's bed. He says, no sweat, I've done it. Just hold her steady. And a wind gust? And then the final panel is Rocky saying, no! And the background's all red and they're yellow. Oh, yeah. This, I got to say, I was really entertained by this page. I really loved it. This is my favorite great page.
Part, man. I mean, like, it reminded me of like that. What was that Simpsons thing with a poo maybe where they were trying to conceive and like Homer sets up the perfect way to get pregnant. He's like, just say, read the script. Like, I'm drafted. I'm going to Vietnam tomorrow and I'm the captain of so-and-so football, like.
That's right.
You're sure to get her pregnant this way. Like this whole thing where it's like, oh, I made it. I've finally done it. I'm not going to die. And then a wind gust. And that last panel where it's just a black background and yellow and black of an old woman and a nurse, I guess. And
it's a nurse.
Oh, it's her nurse. It's Roxy's nurse.
It's her nurse.
As she's like holding her fist up to her chin, like going, no. And the whole thing with Comics Time where like he's had, that if you did a stunt like this, your thought process would be like, oh shit. Okay. That's what an entire like brain pattern will be at the jump of a canyon. Like this whole like, no sweat, I've done it. Just hold her steady and a wind gust. Like in your mind, like you're just short circuiting and just thinking in like fucking hieroglyphs or whatever. Like,
oh man.
Anyway, the next page is awesome because we get to see the result of this wind gust. Oh no, the wind seems to have caught him. God help him! He's going to smash into, and sure enough, he's dropped down a few feet and hits the side of the canyon cliff. And everyone's just shocked and horrified. My God, you'll have to forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. Like the crowd here, shock has temporarily stilled my voice. But he's still talking. Never in my career have I witnessed so ghastly, so grotesque, so horrible a tragedy. So Roxy in the next panel is losing her shit, just screaming, no, it can't be. First Johnny, now this. And Ghost Rider comes up behind her, puts his hand on her shoulder. It's like, control yourself, woman. We will grieve together later. She's like, go away. I won't answer any. Johnny? Yes, but don't ask me any questions either. There's no time for it now. Just come with me. And so she faints, and the cops ID him and go, hey, he's supposed to be in the hospital. There he is. He must have escaped. Let's get him. So I still don't understand what the fuck's going on, but apparently they want to kill him. He finds a truck and he stuffs her in it. The keys are in it. He's stoked. He's like, I got to jump on the cops. I have time. I might be able to get out of here. Art wise, I love the kerwoom. I love the shocked, horrified faces of the rabble who are there to watch this stupid ass stunt. I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, I know the art kind of fell down after this.
Yeah.
Well, no, I do like the final page. Let's jump to the final page. So yeah, Ghost Rider takes off in the truck saying, at least at last a little luck comes my way. Not only were the keys in it, it also has 4-wheel drive. That way I'll be able to lose the police somewhere out in the desert. He says, but that won't help much when morning dawns and I become a critically injured Johnny Blaze again, reminding you. Unless I lose both the police and find my way to the hospital by sunrise, I'm as good as dead.
I love it.
Yeah. But then we switch back to the cool guy in the story, Hellstrom, who has arrived at the shack. And he says, oh, rundown Indian shack. I'm not going to get rich off this assignment. He knocks the door and Snake Dance answers. But the man says, hello, I am Daimon Hellstrom. I believe someone sent for me. Something about a young girl being possessed. Snake Dance says, yes, I am the girl's father, but you have arrived too late. My daughter is gone, broke free of her bonds like a wild animal, and ran away. Now she belongs to the devil. And Daimon says, I'm sorry. I don't give up that easily. In spite of the gravity of the situation, I still may be able to help. He's still been shrouded this whole time. We have not seen his face, which is so fucking cool.
That last panel of the high key lighting, we're down like by Damon's belt line and looking up, and like Snake Dance's shadows being cast in harsh relief, as is his against the shack walls, like the rough, rude wood. So cool. Yeah. And he's, folks, if you haven't read this yet, you gotta, but he's got like a Columbo trench coat on. So like, he's already fucking cool. Like, just one more thing.
Yeah.
I love this mystery, man.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then, we get a teaser box for next issue. It says, next, a Dynamite double feature. First in Ghost Rider #2, Shake Hands with Satan. Then for the cataclysmic conclusion, Marvel Spotlight 12 premieres The Mark of Satan, a senses-stunning new series in the great Marvel tradition. Don't miss them. Now, that was Stan's original title, which is weird that they left it in at this point. Maybe that was something that was just still in the script.
I think it was in flight. I think it was just they were still... I think that this didn't have as much runtime as we thought it did. I think that Stan said, do this. They did. And then Roy was like, so let's introduce him. He seemed really hot on this idea. Let's do this. And then can we possibly not have it be, an evil guy? Can he be a good guy? Blah, blah. Let's figure it out. And they just said, shroud him a mystery and make him seem like he's helpful. And I'll talk to Stan. Basically.
Yeah. Well, that's normally how it went, as we found with the origin of all these monster books.
Yeah.
But really cool final panel. Great little teaser box. So that's the final page of the issue. I guess we get into some final thoughts, right?
We have a voicemail. It's the same voicemail we had before, folks, if you've been listening for a while. That's 971-220-5865. Also, it's just 971-220-JUNK. If you want to call that and leave us some voicemail about what you thought about the issues, what you think about what we're if you think we're wrong about a take on something, whatever, we'd love to hear from you. Call, leave a message.
Yeah, you can get to us. What's that number again, Matt? I love hearing you say it.
Well, that's because my voice is sexy. 971-220-5865. 971-220-JUNK.
That's what I came for.
So in the old days, we would do a thing called Wearmail by Night. And I would read a response from someone in the day to the issue we had read. I don't know what you want to call it for this. I'm kind of bummed. When he gets his own book, it's called Hellstrom's Chronicles.
Yeah,
that stinks. Anyway, chew on that.
Okay.
But I have a letter.
Oh, all right. Let's hear it.
So this is from Ghostwriter number 3. It says, Dear Marvel, I've just finished reading Ghostwriter number 1, A Woman Possessed, and I've got to say it was great. You really got into a lot of supernaturalism this ish, and that's the way it should be. This new mystery character, Daimon Hellstrom, really has me intrigued. Why does he have the mark of Satan on his chest? What's the weird heritage he's trying to live down? How come we didn't get to see his face? Somehow I think I'm going to find the answers in Marvel Spotlight number 12. I bet he's the star of the new Mark of Satan strip. If so, that's great. It's a first. An exorcist as the star of a comic series? Wow. I like the character of Linda Littletree, by the way, a lot more than I like Roxanne. How about letting Roxanne die and making Linda Johnny Blaze's new love interest?
Jeez.
After the devil unpossesses her, of course. Anyway, those are my comments. Great story, great art, great suspense. Keep up the good work here. Randy the Forklift Jones, Pacific. What's MO? Montana?
I think so, right?
Pacific, Montana. That's a oxymoron. The response is, no, Randy, we won't keep up the good work. Sorry, we hope you'll forgive us, but we're going to do our utmost to do even better as time goes on. And as for your guess about Daimon Hellstrom, you're right. They spell it Diamond. You're right, as a rain of fire, which is a nice, sneaky, and yet unobtrusive lead-in to the following plug. The Mark of Satan is appearing right now in Marvel Spotlight. And if you miss it, FND, you may have to trade your soul for a copy later on. We predict it's going to be a big hit. Don't make liars of us, huh?
Oof.
Wow.
Yikes.
That's some roughness.
That is.
So, yeah. We're going to have to think of a name that's better than Hellstrom's Chronicles for when we read the letters column from Marvel Spotlight and Son of Satan's solo. Yeah. Final thoughts, I guess.
Well, kind of what we were saying going through the entire issue. I feel that Sid Shore's inks definitely tamed Sutton's pencils to adhere to the whatever the Marvel house style is. But yeah, I think in that there was some sort of disconnect that caused a lot of the art to be, I don't know, just feel weird, just feel uncomfortable in a way, like just the pairing wasn't good. Even though, I mean, but then again, any of the panels that had Hellstrom in it were amazing and were, you know, straight out of an EC comic. And so just to have that and to have Hellstrom be such a strong character while Ghost Rider really wasn't just in it doing stuff very much at all. It's I think it's a good introduction for Son of Satan, that's for sure. And that's why we're doing this. You know, we love Ghost Rider, but we're not doing a show on Ghost Rider. We're doing a show on Son of Satan.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. Daimon Hellstrom is the star of this issue. Artistically speaking and narratively, like, he's the most intriguing, the most fascinating part. I'm not into Johnny Blaze's thing and his drama and his supporting cast and all that stuff, but it just feels much less interesting than this guy who is shrouded in mystery and wearing a trench coat and never shown. So I mean, they were kind of, you know, making it hard not to want to know who he is. But yeah, I love Ghost Rider. It's fun, but I'm way more interested in this Daimon Hellstrom dude. So the Sid Shore's inks, like you said, taming, mostly for the worse, in my opinion. There's times where it kind of comes together and works, mostly when it's the Daimon Hellstrom stuff, when Sid can fall back on his 50s horror stuff that he might have done, and Tom's just doing what he loves to do. So they kind of click up, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how much Tom loves motorcycles. I don't know how much he loves Evel Knievel stunt culture. I don't know how much, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much he loves this job.
I don't either. I just see so much of his passion goes into his other horror stuff. I actually think that, I mean, Tom Sutton's amazing, and this art isn't bad.
No,
but I don't think it's I don't think it's the best Tom Sutton stuff. And it seems like he might not have liked something about this assignment. I agree.
That'll be my impression.
Yeah.
So, interesting start, I guess. You know, I had a lot of thoughts about the art while I was reading it, and I knew this is how this is going to go conversationally. Yeah. So
I know, you know, I think we've established over the last 3 seasons that we definitely like to remain positive and find positive stuff. Mm-hmm. We're not here to shit talk 60-year-old comics. So, you know, we want to we found good things about it. But yeah, not my favorite for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So I would love to hear what you guys thought about it. If you want to call us at 971-220-5865. That's 971-220-JUNK. You can also email us at bronzeagemonsters@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials. You know, I can tell you those. You know what those are. Just hit the magnifying glass and search Bronze Age Monsters. You can find us. Don't forget that we're having that drink contest. I think that... you know, I think a few episodes in, we'll probably have some entries. I want to start. We taste them on the air, by the way, folks. You've done this before. We taste them on the air and talk about them. So you get proxy fame, essentially.
Basically. Yeah. That's what our friend Ben got.
Yeah.
Got all the fame in the world for coming up with the Ramita alteration, which is a hell of a drink, by the way.
Yeah. It became one of our favorite drinks that we rode pretty hard in the ground.
Yes, we did.
I drank the shit out of those. I'm taking a break from them. I loved them so much.
Yeah, me too. I had too much Chinar.
Yes, sir. So, as I mentioned before, we have our Patreon for people who want to support us. We do a thank you to most of you folks who support us at the higher tiers. That is the bonus show that happens every week. This season, we'll be talking about a devil movie that we watched. Whenever we can, it will be something that we watched on our Discord server as a watch along. We kind of all hang out together and, you know, have a beer, have some popcorn, and watch these movies together. It's really fun. We watched the film that we're talking about on this inaugural episode, The Devil's Reign from 1975 together Sunday. And I had a blast. It was so fun. That was the most people we'd had in a watch along, and the most fun I'd had doing one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I encourage everyone. Yeah, first join the Discord because it's super fun, or just join it for the watch along. So
yeah, and you know, if you're the kind of person that's like, I don't want to turn my camera on or say anything, you don't have to. You can pop in and just work. Just put your, you know, have your icon showing and your mic muted. We don't care. We love to have you there. Watch these movies because it makes it easier for you. We're going to talk about it on the bonus show that week. So you're already going to have done your homework. It's good. It's good stuff, folks. One thing that we haven't done yet is we haven't figured out how to change the names of our tiers of support on Patreon, because these were all based on the Werewolf by Night. So in descending order was Star God, Moonbeast. No, Star God, I forgot, Pack Brothers and Sister. Then Moonbeast, and then Furry One, and then committee member. I'm going to keep Star God the same because the Man-Wolf Star God character, being a barbarian space deity, is the most 70s fucking badass thing you can possibly have, the most Bronze Age cool thing. So that's still the God level of $10 or above. And we have some great folks who do that. We'll get to them in a minute. But the Pack Brothers and Sisters, we're going to change that to something. I don't know what to do there.
We'll figure it out.
We need to update it, but it's going to stay the werewolf theme stuff until we figure it out. But if you do support us on those levels, we also give you a shout out, a thank you. So on the main show, we give you a verbal shout out. On the bonus show, there's a visual one at the end of the show. You're in the credits. You're part of the show.
That's right.
So should we start off with Star Gods, or no? Let's end with them. Let's do what are currently known as Pack Brothers and Sisters, who support us at the $5 level. Those folks, by the way, get access to the video bonus show, any extra content that we make, like little documentaries or behind the scenes stuff, and access to everything below that. So below that, like Moon Beast is $3 a month, that you get access to the video show, no shout outs, access to the audio podcast. And below that is the furry ones. They just get the audio podcast. And below that, the community members, that's $1 a month. That's just you saying thank you to us, and we appreciate you. Star Gods get everything. Star Gods get, after 6 months of being a Star God, you get a free shirt from our shop. And you get exclusive access to everything, some stuff that Pack Brothers don't get. So there's a 10, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Star Gods and Pack Brothers and Sisters are our current most popular levels, which we are stoked about. That's
yep.
You guys help make this happen. You help make our shirts happen for our folks. You helped our logo get made by that awesome graphic designer, Francois Vigneault. So thank you for your support. And let's call those folks out right now. Let's do the Pack Brothers and Pack Sisters, Jacob.
All right. Starting with Ryan from Across the Bifrost.
And Tim Tucker.
Brian from Marvel by the Month.
Blake, last name withheld.
Caleb.
Ben M.
Michelle from Moonlit Comics.
Letty, a new member. Thanks, Letty.
Hi, Letty. Rob Haferman.
Russ from Tomes of Evil.
Brad Michael Elmore. He'll be joining us in a few episodes.
Woohoo! Tony Ayupi.
Jason Finestone.
Jared Svedas.
Brink.
Bill from Long Island.
David D.
And MJ / some British cult. You haven't tricked me yet. I'm not going to say it.
Nope. So now we list names of our Star Gods, our barbarian deities. People like Michael Giacchino.
Josh Lank.
Jackson T. Overstreet.
The great Mark Nivens.
And Eric Hadley.
Thank you so much for supporting us at the Star God level. You folks are amazing. I trust you all have gotten your shirts. You all sent your orders in, and thank you so much. Folks, if you want to get free shirts, you just got to be a Star God for 6 months. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And you're making the magic happen.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob. So let the folks know what's happening next.
So next week, we are going to be talking about Ghost Rider issue 2. This is the last issue of Ghost Rider we're going to be talking about. And so we're going to see the continuation of the story. And then after that, we are switching right back to Marvel Spotlight when we're going to be on the title proper, The Son of Satan.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I wasn't so stoked on the art this issue. Obviously, it was hit and miss for me. I think we found the silver lining on it, but I can't wait to jump into the Marvel Spotlight issues. And I mean, he was there for 10 issues or 12 issues. I mean, he had the book for a year. So the fact that he had it so long and got launched in his own book means that it sold well, which means people liked it. So I'm excited to read it for the first time again with fresh eyes and in color, because I only read the essential Marvel horror thing. So yeah, just looking forward to it. That's all. So in the old days, we would have a sign off, but we don't have one yet.
We're starting to figure this out. Yeah. We're starting from scratch.
Yeah. Again, just trust us.
Yeah.
We've done this before. It turns out great, but I'm not going to force anything. So
little rocky start. That's okay.
Yeah. What did we say in the old days? In the old days, we said, till we meet again neath the full moon, furry ones.
That's right.
Here's how and at you. But we'll figure out something satanic that fits. I don't know.
We'll figure it. We will. Have no fear.
All right. So that's basically a sign off until we get one.
Oh, that's great.
See you next week, folks.
See you next week.